Teddy quite literally falls out of his chair onto the floor. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Are you having like a heart attack? What's happening? Like,
well, I work just in the office.
Yeah, in office, aka our dining room table.
Lovely office.
Love, great office. I mean, it was so small, but it was awesome. And he falls onto the floor and I'm like, are you okay? What's up? And he's like, Marisa, we just got an email from the producers of Dragon's Den. They just saw our Kickstarter campaign. And I was like, what? Anyways, we had a call with them like a day later and they were like, we love the idea. We'd love to have you on the show. And we were like, we don't have a product. Like, what? And we had no idea, by the way, that this is how it worked, that they actually actively sought out brands.
Don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. So they don't just accept applications, they scout. So we were like, we'd love to come on at some point, but we just don't have the product. Like, it kind of feels a little bit counterintuitive.
Weird,
Like, we'd love to have sales. We thought logically as well, we'd get a better deal because we have no revenue. Like, we have literally 10K in pre-sales. Like, we have no money. Our valuation is going to be shit. So we don't want to give away 100% of the business. So when we launched the cans in October of 2021 and we're riding this momentum, get into Facebook, you know, get confirmed listing at Holland Barrett, eventually launch into Holland Barrett, we call the producer back actually and say, hey, we launched the cans, we have the physical product, we have some distribution, we'd love to be considered for this next season.
So you said no and then went back, basically.
Correct.
Got you.
And they said, great, let's do some diligence. And we did weeks and weeks and weeks. And then they went quiet.
And what is that pre-diligence process, just so we can understand it? Is that really diving into a lot of the numbers and the revenue and what you're saying, or is it just a lot of calls and conversations?
Everything.
Right.
Everything. I mean, so much paperwork, you know, all of our like company registration details, that, everything, like all of our existing contracts, just everything, our sourcing, everything. And they kind of just ghosted us. And we were like, what the? And it was super weird. And we had no idea what was going on. But at the same time, and also people don't know this really, is Teddy was in the final round of going on Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars show.
What?
And he actually went to the first day of filming at the BBC.
Is that to be like chefing stuff, cooking up?
This was his new show format. That it wasn't for cooking, it was for entrepreneurs. So people in food and beverage brands.
Yeah. And there's lots of challenges and stuff like that. I think I saw the show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but you'd have to take like 8 weeks off the business. Mm-hmm. And when Teddy went to the first day of filming, they asked him kind of like pointed questions about almost like his dating life and things that were very unrelated to Perfect Ted.
Right.
And he was like, why was this line of questioning asked? And they said, oh, well, everyone has a role in this show. You're the flirty one. So he was like, what? Like, I don't want to.
You're the flirty one.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going on a show to be like a joke. Like, I'm not doing this. So he dropped out. And
you're the flirty one. It's hilarious just to be like, we're all going to be the one that causes trouble.
Yeah. I mean,
it's TV, isn't it?
Yeah, but also they didn't get it totally wrong. So, you know, he's very much single. So
if you've got a flat and single, there's an option with Teddy.
Yeah, I won't even get into that. I won't embarrass him. But we then got reached out to 2 days later after he dropped out by the producers of Dragon's Den. It was like the perfect timing. And but I didn't see it that way because they said, great, we have a slot for you in 5 days. Can you come to Manchester then? And we were like,
to film it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had 5 days to prepare. And obviously we didn't think it was happening. So we didn't prepare anything. We didn't prepare the pitch. We really had very little knowledge of our financials at that point at all, which is kind of embarrassing. But, you know, we were just moving so quickly and doing everything that it was hard to really have a grasp of it.
Is it still two of you at this point?
2 of us. Again, Levi is kind of like part-time.
Yeah.
And we do have a part-time intern who's doing some marketing support for us.
But basically just the 2 of you to do the whole thing.
And I essentially like broke down like 10 times, pulled out 3 times, was like, I can't do this. I was just so anxious. And
it was.
Yeah. And also with my ADHD, I just like having this feeling of preparedness that makes me confident and comfortable going into situations.
Sure.
Even before this, you know, I'm reading my notes. Like I'm like, what are some of my talking points? What stories can I bring up? And I just felt very little time to prepare. And that scared the shit out of me. And we actually knew a brand that had gone on a previous season and they were slated because they hated their product. It wasn't even about the way he pitched it.
Right.
He knew his numbers like the back of his hand. They just hated his product. And for 5 esteemed dragons to go on public television and say, oh, this product tastes like shit, you know, that's not great for sales, is it?
Because also, I guess once you filmed it, you can't control anything.
No.
So as soon as you walk in that room and whatever happens, you have no say in how it's edited, if it's even put out, any of that stuff, no matter what happens, right?
No. And I just struggle to relinquish control in those situations. When you care so much about something and it feels somewhat like the entire future of your business is determined by someone else.
Yeah.
And they can paint whatever narrative they'd like.
Sure.
That is terrifying, you know? So I think I just saw a lot of the risk in going on. And Teddy was like, are you mad? This is the craziest opportunity. And Teddy, one of his best friends, or his best friend in the world, actually, unfortunately, passed away from cancer. And they grew up watching Dragon's Den every week together. And it was a dream of his to go on. And I think once I understood, the magnitude of the opportunity and that I needed to put the business before my own personal concerns, and saw how much it meant to Teddy, I couldn't let him down. It was more about Teddy. It was more about letting Teddy down than anything. Yeah. I
mean, what an amazing co-founder though, eh? Like the fact that you're willing to kind of go through that for the benefit of Teddy. I know it benefits both of you, but it's nice to know that through everything you can support each other in some capacity. So how did